Minute. It has been a while. Your boy's been busy. He's been working. I have not had a chance to just get out here, sit down, and us just talk for a little bit. And I said, today we're changing that. We're going to talk, and I had definitely had a topic in mind as I was walking up here that I was like, I want to talk about this. This is something that's been on my mind recently a lot. Kind of a lot of the recent videos have kind of been in line with this. So we're going to talk about it. Hold on. Let me adjust my chat here. Cool. What up, Hollis? Good to see you. Good to see you. Today, I wanted to talk about, I don't want to live a normal life. I want freedom. Okay. And first part of the stream, I probably won't be in the chat that much. I'm just going to talk, do my little riff, my little spiel. Then the second half, we'll get in there and we can all talk and chop it up, kiki, have a few laughs. But first, I want to talk about, I don't want a normal life. I want freedom, right? Something I've been noticing lately, and y'all know me, I've always kind of marched to the beat of my own drum and kind of looked at the world differently. But lately, I've been noticing that, like, even more, I'm caring less about, like, the normal things that everybody says you could care about. What up, Angela? I'm caring less about all the normal stuff that, like, everybody says you should care about. I'm going to tell you when this hit me. This is a true story. I got a haircut now. I cut my hair this morning. But for, like, the past couple weeks, your boy was out here, no haircut. I was trying to kind of keep my beard somewhat intact because I'm at work, but like no haircut. Y'all know how my hairline does. My hairline was like way back. It was crazy. And I genuinely didn't care. You know what I mean? A lot of times I was like, oh, let me wear a hat, blah, blah, blah. I just was like, why do I care? What does it matter, like, what I look like? As long as, like, I got on clean clothes and I've showered, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And that got me thinking that, like, I remember there was a time where I really cared a lot more about my appearance because I was like, oh, what if a woman sees me and da-da-da, you know what I mean? But, like, recently I realized I'm like, I'm not really that concerned about dating anymore. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, why do I need to be overly concerned about my appearance if I'm not trying to attract anybody? That's just one example of, like, some of the stuff that, most people seem very concerned about, and not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just one of those normal things, like, I just don't seem to care about anymore. I'll be at work sometimes and people will be talking about, promotions and leveling up and stuff. And I'm like, nah, like, I'm not, I get so far and then I'm good. Like, I don't care about titles. You know what I mean? Now, if you can get a promotion, get more money, cool, if it's worth it. But you know what I mean? Like, titles and leveling up in society's eyes. I'm like, I don't know, maybe hitting 45, like maybe when you're like in your 20s and 30s, you're working towards something. Maybe now that I've like hit my 40s, and I feel like I don't like to say, like, people say it's downhill from here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I feel like maybe I've hit the plateau and I'm just like, I don't feel like I need to be working towards anything in my life anymore other than my goals. All the normal stuff of, like, status and prestige and, legacy and success. And, I just don't feel like, I need any of that stuff. I just don't find myself caring about any of that stuff anymore. And it's actually a very freeing feeling. Like, it's not a kind of a flippant, I just don't care. It's just like, when you push aside caring for things that maybe other people told you should care about, when you get rid of that, it leaves room for the things that you really do care about to come into your life. You can focus on those things. And I think one of the big reasons a lot of us are unhappy is because we focus so much on things that we really don't care about. And we try to bring those things into our life. And, like, those things live rent-free in our heads all the time. And they're really not, like, even if we achieve them, we're not happy. Like I always say, if it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't mean anything. I think so often we're going after this ideal of what a normal life is, but like we're not normal people, you know? You're not a normal person, like you're you. And you have your own hopes and dreams and desires and crazy thoughts and weird idiosyncrasies and crazy little hobbies that you could probably be going after, but you don't because you think they're crazy because people have told you they're crazy. I think the more we get over this ideal of like wanting to conform and embrace normal, I know for me, like the more fun my life becomes, right? You know, because it's just like now that I don't care about all this other stuff, I have time to care about the little stuff I love. I care about. Y'all know me, like I love women's sports. I got way more time to watch women's sports now that I'm not trying to chase all this other stuff in life. And that makes me very happy. And at the end of the day, for me, that's the name of the game. The name of the game is happiness. It's funny, I get lots of comments. People are like, happiness is fleeting. You need to chase joy. Or they're like, happiness is fleeting. You need to chase whatever else they put in its place. I just have to say real quick, folks, that's just semantics. I could just as easily say joy is fleeting. You need to chase happiness. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you need to chase anything. I don't care what you call it. I think at the end of the day, we're all, it's a feeling. We use different words to describe it, but it's a feeling. I think at the end of the day, we're all looking for lives where we have that feeling of like, yes, you know what I mean? I call it happiness. When I'm doing something and it's making me happy, that's that feeling of like being alive. Yes. And whatever you want to call it is fine. We don't have to go back and forth in the comment section about what to call it or what not to call it. You know, I call it happiness. So that's what I'm going after. And I found that like the more I let go of all the things that mean nothing to me, the happier I am. Hang on, give me like 2 seconds. Okay, we back. We back. Sorry about that. I had to take a little break. Y'all know me. It's kind of disconcerting to be talking and then people like walk up behind you. Um, but they do that around here. I don't know. Like I get it. It's a like you can't really see the like if you're walking on the trail in front of me, you can clearly see that I'm sitting down here on this bench talking on my phone, right? And people still want to walk down and like come right by. I'm like, bro, like I understand it's a public place. They can do what they want. But I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it's like, I'm obviously doing something here. Why are you going to come get my shot? Anyway, what were we saying before we, before we were interrupted? Exactly. 2,000 acres around, literally. And people have to walk and get my shot. It's crazy to me. They do that a lot around here. I've noticed that other places I've been, people a little more respectful to privacy. Here, yeah, they always walk up on me. Anyway, yes, like I'm finding that the more I can let go of like societal norms and the more I can just like not feel like I have to do certain things or achieve certain metrics or check certain boxes, the more little things come into my life that perhaps I didn't even realize I enjoyed or I didn't have the time to enjoy previously or to look into previously because I was so worried about this other stuff. And that other stuff was not bringing me the same level of happiness. You know, like me, it's just, and I think it's the little simple things. For most of us, like we've been sold this ideal that life has to be so complicated and we have to work for many, many, many years to get the things we want, blah, 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 blah. And if that's you, cool. But I think most of us, we would much rather like work the little bit we need to work and spend the rest of the time like hanging out with our kids or like, like I said, our little hobbies or, working on something we enjoy. The other side, I don't think life was meant to be that way. I don't think life was meant for us to slave away. That's why I talk so much about like the issues with work, because like I firmly believe we've set up a system, and the way we work in this system is very flawed, and it's not the way it's meant to be. Like if you look at society, and an overwhelming majority of the people don't like their jobs, you know what I mean? But like that's the norm, then something's wrong with the society, right? If you see any group of people and 9 out of 10 of them don't like doing something a certain way, but they keep doing it, there's something wrong there, right? And I don't think it pains me when people say things like life sucks, all we do is slave away. That pains me. Like that hurts, bro, because I'm like, life is such a beautiful experience. We're on such a beautiful planet. There are so many amazing things. Like you could live 100 lifetimes and never see everything and do everything. And I know we all have things we want to see and do. And the fact that for some reason we got to get up and go to work every day and not be able to do all this stuff hurts. Like that's the you know what I mean? Like whenever I see injustice or pain and suffering, like it bothers me. But that's something that like on a daily basis bothers me. You know, I get bothered just walking through a crowd of people, right? And just knowing that like most of them would rather be somewhere else doing something else. But most of them, myself included at the time, are heading to work, are heading away from work. That's why I've been talking so much lately about like Freedom Fund. Right now we're working, build back up that Freedom Fund so we can get back out there and start doing the things we want to do again. And that's the way, like, what this ties into like not being normal. I think a lot of people, even if they find themselves surviving and maybe even currently struggling to surviving, I think because of the programming and the brainwashing, I think sometimes we think that's all there can be. And that's why my message is always one of like, no, in the future, us can be free. You know what I mean? The ideal of like, hey, if I start today saying this is not going to be it, it's not going to be the 9-to-5 grind till I'm 65, and then maybe I'll have $2 million saved up to retire, or or whatever arbitrary number they say you have to retire comfortably now. No. If we can say, hey, I have a plan, I'm going to break free, I'm doing whatever I'm doing currently, but this is not me. Like, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life doing things I don't want to do. And we don't have to know exactly how we're going to do it when we make that decision. You know, if you think about anybody who achieved a goal in life, most of them had no clue how they were going to do it, or maybe like a rough outline when they started. You know, someone's like, oh, I'm going to be in the NBA. A 10-year-old, I want to play in the NBA. They have no clue what it's going to take to get in the NBA. Little girls like, I want to get in the WNBA. 11-year-old girl, she has no clue how to do it, but it's just like, hey, I've decided I want to do that. I'm going to spend as much time as it takes to do it. I think that's how we have to be in life. It's like, hey, I have no clue how I'm going to break out of the rat race, break free of the matrix, but starting today, we're going to start looking into it. We're going to start making steps to work on it to get there. But so often and it's easy to do, we just get wrapped up in this is all there is, and so we just keep all there isn't for the rest of our life. You know what I mean? We just keep all there isn't. This is it. Life sucks. There's no da. And like I said, I understand having those sentiments, and I have to fight them myself. Trust me. But I just will not allow myself. Like, I don't mind being delusional. I don't mind being a naive, delusional dreamer. So I'm just not going to allow myself to think that like a certain way of living is the only way there is. Like I always say, God is good, the universe is abundant, and I'm going to try. So I think between the three of us, we can figure out how to get, just one human being on planet Earth free. You know what I mean? I think, depending on what your beliefs are, I think that's another thing we forget about. It's funny how like I see a lot of people who say they're, very religious people, and sometimes they're the most down. And I'm like, bro, like, didn't you just say you have a belief in a higher power? Well, then none of this here should bother you. You know what I mean? Like, it should bother you, but like, this definitely ain't stopping you if you think God's got you. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like sometimes I get too deep in the weeds on that. I lose some people, but I'm just like, I refuse to resign myself to normality. I got stuff I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get free. I'm trying to enjoy my life. It don't matter if other people think my lifestyle is crazy. One thing I know that stops a lot of people is the judgment of others. And for me, I'm like, I'm willing to take whatever judgment people are trying to put out there if it means I'm gonna get free. You know what I mean? If it means I'm gonna be able to live life the way I want to, why people's judgment is gonna stop me? If someone's like, hey, you can have all the things you desire, but people are gonna judge you, you really gonna be like, nah, I'll stay living the life I don't want because I don't want to be judged? No. Like, if it was placed in front of us on like a scale, you could have everything you want, but you gotta be judged by people. You'd be like, screw them people, give it to me. But in day-to-day life, that's what happens. So many people would rather be living a much simpler life, way less possessions, way less bills, way less flashy things. A lot of people would probably rather be with a different mate, a lot of stuff, but they feel like they have to, in order to seem successful, or in order for the people around them to view them in a positive light, they feel like they have to live a certain way. They have to acquire certain things. They have to date certain people. And so we're missing out on the life we actually want, which is attainable just because we don't want other people to say something about us. We don't want other people to think we're not successful. I don't care what you think about me if I'm enjoying my life, as long as I'm not doing something crazy. Like, I care what people think about me as far as like, I don't want to do nothing wrong. I don't want to wrong nobody. You know what I mean? I want to be a good person. But beyond that, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about me because I don't have a car, because I know I'm taking that $600-800 a month that I would be putting towards a car, and I'm putting it to better use that down the line is going to be able to fund my lifestyle. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Say, like, just stuff like that. In life, we got to ask ourselves, what's more important to us? Looking good in other people's eyes, or like our life? That's the way I look at it. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not finna sacrifice the things I got on my agenda to do, that I'm looking forward to doing, because people may not approve of the way in which I do them. Especially when I spent so many years trying to like fit in and achieve the things and get the things that everybody else said I should have. It was very hard, and it really didn't work out for your boy. So I'm like, if I already suck at like living a normal life, and low key, actually high key, I don't want to live a normal life, why am I gonna keep chasing after a normal life when it's not what I want? And the more I give it up, the happier I get. Like, hey, Spitting Fat, 2BB, thank you, Super Chat Squad, appreciate that love. Thank you to Spitting Facts today. We here. Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, we're trying to spit a little truth, man. It sometimes I think it's good to say these things out loud. These are the type of things that go around in my head all day long, and keeps me motivated to do what I got to do. But also, like, I know it was hearing other people say these things that help me. Sometimes we feel like we're alone. Sometimes we feel like we're crazy. Sometimes we feel like there's something wrong with us. But thank you, 2BB. I appreciate that. Super Chat Squad, Freedom Fund, we here. Super Chat Squad / Freedom Fund, we here. But like, sometimes it just feels good to hear someone else say kind of similar things we've been thinking, and just like give us permission. You know what I mean? We don't need permission from nobody, but I know there's been many times in life that, like, hearing a friend of mine or someone I respected, or sometimes even a total stranger who just said it in a good manner, say something, gave me permission to do it. I'm like, oh, it's not just a pipe dream. Like it could happen. Y'all gonna stop calling this a green screen. We're something I can. Usually I like to have a tree branch by me so I can grab one, and so y'all can say it's not a green screen. Hey, Varnell, I appreciate that. Please, I'm glad to hear that. And that's why I keep making these videos, is because, like, I think sometimes we ask ourselves like who am I? And one thing I realize is that like all of us have the potential to help others, and it doesn't make us anybody special. You're always just who you are. It doesn't make you anybody special. But like it does do something for yourself and someone else. So it's just like, let's do it. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna keep sitting out here and speaking this message. We're gonna keep talking about these things because like I feel like there's never been a time in the world where we needed it as much. You know, and in the good times where everybody's just, you know, seems to be doing great and things going well. The message is still needed, but like I feel like these are times that they're kind of interesting times. So I think it's important I think it's more important now to not waste your time and your energy and your mental thought capacity work trying to do normal stuff than you know other times. Hey, chemistry here. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. I appreciate the love. Freedom Fund filling up. Thank you. Appreciate the love, chemistry. And that is a good point. Like Treasure May said, it's all going to work out. That is one of the most powerful truths I think we could ever bring into our life and start to believe. Because then your actions change drastically. When you get to the point where you firmly believe like it's all going to work out, then you just do what you want. You know what I mean? Or you take more risk. I think there's always that level of like, you know, of some level of but like when you genuinely understand and believe that most of the time it works out, you can start taking bigger risks. And it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to make sense on paper. You know, the people around you don't have to understand it. That's the thing. Like life is not a make sense on paper type of thing, right? Life is not like logical like that. We act like it is, even though we all know it's not. Life, like things happen, right? You do stuff, things happen. We act like, oh no, life is set up so if you do this and this and this and this and this, then you will achieve. Like it's an algebra equation. Like it's not, bro. Because we all know people who tried, you know, we've done it a lot. We tried the blueprint, it didn't work. But then we just go try to find another blueprint or we double down on the blueprint. You ever notice how much people do that? They try the blueprint of what everybody said life should be about. It doesn't work for them. They just like double down on, I must be doing it wrong. No, there's no blueprint. There's no blueprint. Great question asked. How do you build a tolerance for risk? Baby steps. I think you can baby step yourself into taking greater risk by starting off with like a little small risk. And then when that one works out, you take a little bigger one. And when that one works out, you take a little bigger one. Here's the thing. Here's the very interesting part. You can get to the point where you take a bigger risk and it doesn't work out and you realize the sky didn't fall in. And that, honestly, I think when we take a risk and it doesn't work out and something bad happens or it doesn't go the way we plan and we realize it's okay, that jumps you ahead about 5 steps. You know, because you're like, oh, it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. And I was able to figure out how to navigate, you know? So yeah, I'm a big believer in just like baby step. Like you got to try, you're never going to, we can't listen to enough podcasts, you know, or read enough books or go to enough retreats to get us to a place where like suddenly we're comfortable taking big risks. Like you have to like live. That's life. Once again, this is life. Life was not meant to have someone hand us the book of how to do it. Life is all about experiences. Life is all about learning. We think it's different because most of us came up through like the public school system, these indoctrination camps where they're like, this is exactly what you need to know and how you do it. And you go this great, so much in our current society is like that. But real life is not like that. Real life, you got to get out there and do some stuff. Real life, you got to go to the edge and just jump off every now and then, or, you know, climb down slowly, whatever you're comfortable with, you know, like that's real life. There's no blueprints. There's no, you know, there's no guidebook that'll tell you step by step how to do it. Nah, you just have to like do some stuff. But the beauty of that is like, that's when you feel alive, you know? you don't feel as alive when you're just like doing what everybody tells you to do, right? But when you're doing that stuff that you just want to do because you want to do it, or you're doing it in a manner that you want to do it, like that's when you feel alive, right? That's when you're just like, oh, you mean those moments when like you're not questioning what's the point or saying that life, those moments when like you're just doing, you're living. I don't want nobody to give me the guidebook to life. Like I want, people can give me motivation and encouragement. And every now and then, someone could give me a little correction. Hey, bro, that might be a little great, But like I don't want, like, if I take somebody else's guidebook in life, my life is gonna end up just like theirs. If I follow the steps that somebody else tells me I need to follow to have a good life, my life is gonna look just like theirs. And I don't want that. Like, I put here to experience what it's like to be a human. I want to experience what it's like to be this human. Let's live this Timothy Ward life. I don't want to live the life of somebody who, came before me. I don't know how many hundreds of years, or you know what I mean? Like so much of what we do and what we believe has been handed down from people that might not even be living no more, long gone. I just, this is me. This is my new goal. How you doing, Ken? I haven't done a stream in a while, so no one's caught one in a while. I just want to be able to wake up, and the majority of the mornings in the days, I want to be able to do what I want to do. That's it. That's it. I just want to be able to wake up, and the majority of the mornings, be able to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. Like I said, all the other things that people say we need to go after, I don't really care about no more. I don't need to achieve anything. I don't need any rewards. I don't need accolades. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't need nothing other than like my friends and the things that now the achievements I want to achieve. Cool. We're going for 300,000 subscribers on YouTube now. So that's an achievement I want to achieve. But I enjoy doing that. I just don't care about all this other stuff anymore. And I think more and more people are coming around to that because they've made all the stuff that they tell you to care about and go after, because of greed and, hunger for power. They've made all those things so much more unattainable that in response to that, more people are not going after them. They're kind of like shooting themselves in the own foot, but power always does this. People who are just like power mad and money mad, they always end up shooting themselves in the foot. I got that one, Angela, because they take it too far. Like, if you keep it within range and you allow people, like, it's possible for people to make it, people will play your little game indefinitely. Right? People will play your little game indefinitely if you make it maybe not easy to achieve the things you tell them to achieve. If you make it kind of hard, but it's achievable. If the game is winnable, people will play the game. These days, the game isn't winnable, right? And even the people who end up winning aren't happy a lot of the time, right? So it's just like more and more people are just like, what is the point? Like, I tried playing the game, it was hard, and I still never won. It's like if they come up with a video game that nobody can beat, word's gonna get out and no one's gonna buy it. Bro, you cannot beat that game. People will go, oh, I can. They'll try it. Like, no, you're right. You can't beat this game. It sucks. Do you know anybody who's beat it? Yeah, Charles, and he had a stroke soon after because it was so hard. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where we are today. Is like more and more people are just like, I don't care about this stuff, bro. Like, it's not worth it. And not saying in and of itself any of this stuff is wrong, but when you try to push people to say, hey, this is what you need to be doing, but it's not possible to do, really, or the juice ain't worth the squeeze, When people, you tell people to climb the mountain and they struggle and get to the top and they're like, ain't nothing up here I want. You know what I mean? They're not gonna climb the mountain no more, right? Like, man, they're gonna tell people don't climb that mountain. It's gonna be on all trails. They'll be like, don't climb that mountain, there's no view. Hardest mountain I ever climbed, no view. I think that's where we're at now. You know, people climbing the mountain can't get up to the top. The few people who got to the top's kind of like, I don't know, bro. Yeah, all that work. Yeah, that's what people's lives feel like. You know, people. Most people feel like they aren't getting anywhere, and the people who are getting somewhere aren't happy. They're not like, you know what I mean. And I see a lot of comments, especially on the videos I did recently about work and things of that nature. So many people, not so many, excuse me, a few people from maybe a older generation than mine. They're like, oh, work has always sucked. You know, this younger generation just needs to suck it up. So entitled, blah, blah, blah. Things have changed. Like this is one, and it's not everybody. I'm definitely not one of those people who, thinks that older generations are out of touch, things like that. Some people of those generations are. Just like some people out of my generation are out of touch. But I think some people fail to realize that, like, over time, like, things change. The world is different than it was 40 years ago. And I think that's why we're seeing more people grumbling and more people, giving up and more people just exhausted and things of that nature, because the world has changed. And it is, to anyone paying any attention, it is obvious that, like, it is a lot harder to make it now. And so that's why I get bothered when people are like, oh, you just need to work harder. We didn't complain. Yes, because one of y'all worked and had everything. And I'm not diminishing the amount of work that person did. And I'm sure they had but still, one person worked, y'all had everything. Now 2 people working, got everything, but also $80,000 worth of credit card debt. You know what I mean? So it's like the world changes. And that's why I think more and more we're changing, right? The world's changing. We're starting to change and be like, you know what? We don't have to keep chasing after this stuff. We don't have to keep putting ourselves deeper and deeper in debt to buy things that, like, we don't even have time to play with. We don't even have time to interact with, We just buy it and it goes in the garage, and we ain't been in the garage in 2 months because we too tired. It's too long a walk from the couch to the garage, let alone going in there and seeing what we got, Like, so I think we're changing. We're just starting not to care. I know for me personally, just starting not to care about a lot of this stuff, bro. It's just like it's too much, too much extra. Too much extra stuff. Yeah, buy the things you want to buy, spend on your vitals, the important things. And it's a great feeling when you can let go, like when you have nothing on your dance card, you know what I mean? Like when there's very little you have to worry about or care about, I should say, in life. That's very little to worry about too. But when there's very little you have to care about, it's very freeing. I care about my friends, I care about my family, I care about being a good person. I care about women's college basketball and the WNBA and the NWSL. I care about, freedom. Like I care about nature. I like being out in nature, Beyond that, like, I care about my YouTube channel. I care about y'all. But, like, I feel like I can just walk through life free. Like, I just see, it's almost like when I'm walking through a crowd of people, and not everybody, but I see a lot of people, like, burdened down. You can almost see the weight. And I'm just like, I feel like I don't have that, bro, because there's nothing I'm trying to do other than the things I decided I wanted to do. I feel like I'm not burdened down by the weight of societal pressure and other people saying, you need to do this. Why? Somebody asked me the other day why I hadn't got further in, like, my career or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? What does that even mean, bro? Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what that means, bro. Like, further my career. Like, I go hiking every week. Stop. Those are the things I like to come back to people with. to come back to people with when they ask me stuff like that. When they ask me about like stuff I don't care about, that means nothing to me, like normal stuff, I come back with something I do that means more to me. Why haven't you advanced further your career? It's like, bro, I get to hike every week. He's like, what? What does that? What does that have to do with career? I'm like, what does career have to do with me? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? When are you gonna settle down and have a family? I'm like, Maddie Westfeld made it to the WNBA. That was like the highlight, one of the highlights of my year. What is you know? He's like, what? Who's she? I'm like, calm. Like, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. My responses are weird to people because their questions are weird to me. All I can do is respond with like stuff that matters to me. And if people don't get it, just like I don't get their questions. Aren't you worried about legacy? What? Stop. What? I'm a bro. And once again, if I'm not saying any things are wrong. I'm just saying they're things that to me make absolutely no sense. So it would not to me that I don't worry about. So it would make absolutely no sense for me to be chasing after them when at the end of the day I don't care. I just want to I want to see more national parks. I want to visit more countries. I want to visit all the that's the type of stuff that keeps me going, and like when I do, that's an achievement. You know, like I said, my bucket list is filled with just random little stuff. Well, a lot of it easily attainable. You just got to like do it. But when I do it, it's amazing. When I do it, like, example, a few years, I'm thinking about this one because I was looking at some of my old videos this morning. And for years I wanted to walk across the Golden Gate Bridge. Not hard to do. You just got to go to San Francisco, take an Uber to the bridge. But like when I was doing it, that was just like a profound moment to me because I wanted to do it so long. That's more important to me than, a lot of the other stuff, than getting a brand new car. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I was like, bro, I'm doing it. I said I was going to walk across the Golden Gate Bridge and I'm doing it. Get more of those in your life, folks. Want to take a little advice from, some random dude on the internet sitting in the middle of the woods? Well, the edge of the woods. Not a green screen, people, but let me prove it. Let me prove it's not a green screen real quick. That's what's in front of me. Not a very good, the best view, but get more. I said I was going to do it and I did it moments in your life. And they don't have to be big moments. Just something that you're going to have to take the time and do it. And when you finally do it, it's a great feeling. And it can be big things. It could be small, big, medium, whatever. But get more of those, I'm going to do that, so that you can be like, I said I was going to do it and I did it. I think like that's life. But it's life when it's things that mean something to you. We need less, they said I need to do it, so I did it moments. We need less, they said I'm going to do it, so I did it moments. And more, hang on one second, because this is annoying. Once is funny. 3-4 times is annoying. Respectfully. Less, they said I need to do it, so I'm trying to do it moments, and more, I said I was going to do it, and I did it. Sorry, I know you're probably joking, but like, sometimes I don't know if people are joking. So, Angel said I was watching. No, I figure it's a joke, but it's just like, I don't know if you're joking, so I have to. But yeah, like those moments was like, man, I said I was gonna do it. Nobody believed me. Nobody could understand why I wanted to do it. Nobody thought I was gonna do it. I said I was gonna do it. I did it. I say it all the time. My buddy Cyan, he gets all of them. My buddy Cyan, I'd be like, I'm gonna do that. He'd be like, okay. And now he believes me because he knows me, but it'll just be something random. I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and it might be 10 years from now, but I bet I do it. There's stuff that I said I'm gonna do, and it was only a 24-hour timeout. For the record, it was only a 24-hour timeout. I should have done 30 minutes. Sorry, but there's things that I've said I'm gonna do that I don't even know how I'm gonna do it. Like legit. I'm like, yeah, I said I'm gonna live there. How? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna live there. Because I said I'm gonna do it. Actually, like, how powerful that makes you feel when you can just call something into existence. Hey, Root, have fun in Ecuador. I'm a firm believer that a lot of people would be happier in different environments, be that a different city, a different state, a different province, a different country. That's another thing. Like, we don't have to continue to live and exist in the 20-mile radius that we that we were born in or we moved to. Like, we can find ways to go other places. It's a big world. It's a big world. And if you've got the proper passports, you can go see most of it. And you might find you like it better. Or you might just enjoy seeing it. Like, it's that's one thing that really, and I know everybody doesn't love travel as much as me, but I'm just like, it's a big world. You don't have any desire to leave California? I know California's a big state, but you don't have no desire to see the rest of it? I travel within the United States, planes, trains, automobiles, mainly plane and train. Yeah. Now we in Montana. We in Montana. You'll see the trees. Oh. Little water down there. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. It's funny that in the comments people always try to guess like where I'm at, and like everybody's always wrong. It's funny. People are like, are you in Oregon? Are you in this place? Yeah, like, it's Montana. No one ever guesses. People who know, but no one ever guesses Montana. It's funny. Hey, Movie Mystic. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Freedom Fund is filling up. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Let me give you a like on that. If you let me. Yes, cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had anyone be like, are you in Montana? Other than people who already knew that I come to Montana. They'd be like Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, a lot of Colorado. But I am in Colorado a lot. But yeah. Hey, I love that, Chantel. Said I was gonna pay $30K for my new teeth and hit the road, and I did. Let's go. And I bet you feel so powerful. I bet you feel so powerful to be like, I set the intention and I did it. So much of our lives are like, we're just going along with like what we're allowed to do, or whatever doors someone else opened up for us, or whatever money we got enough, whatever we have enough money to buy, that's the car we buy, and like whatever job hired us first, that's the job we take, and we live in the city we live in because of that job. And like, so much of life is just following behind other people's lead, or just like wherever, like other doors that other people opened up for us, or decisions other people made for us led us. It is a great feeling to set intentions in life and follow through on them. That's a beautiful feeling. Just to be like, oh, I'm gonna do that, and then eventually you do it. It's like, bro, like, that's when you start feeling powerful. That's when they start not being able to stop you. That's when they start not being able to just tell you anything and you just automatically believe it. Because you like, nah, that's not true, because just last year I did so and so. And I could probably do this too if I really wanted to. Some still be like, I may not want to put the time and energy in that, but if I wanted to, I could. So you're not just gonna tell me I can't do it. It won't work out for me. Who are you? What have you done? That's what I'm gonna start asking people. When people try to tell me about my life, stuff like that, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna need you to show receipts for things you have done that matter to me, that gives you the right to tell. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'll be people who ain't got no receipts. Other times it'll be people who have receipts for things I don't care about. It's like, you might have achieved certain success in certain areas, but if that doesn't mean anything to me, that doesn't automatically give you the right to tell me about all aspects of my life. I'm gonna start asking people for receipts. Nah, you got to show me something. I need to see some pictures, some photos, some of you being able to do something that means something to me, that gives you the right to tell me what I can and can't do. Y'all know me. They can't just tell me anything. I don't. No. I need proof. I need proof. Hey, and Chantel, let me just say that I have so much respect and for you for like, hey, stacking up your coins and getting it done, something you wanted to get done, and not letting the price tag stop you. You did what you had to do. Let's go. Let's go. Now, yeah, we wish that we had a better healthcare system where you didn't have to spend that much, but I respect the fact that you're like, hey, this is what I'm doing and we're doing it. You did it, so facts. Good point, Ken. As far as we know, this is our first go around. Um, and yeah, people try to tell you exactly how it has to be done. And I always say, if there are some people who are genuinely concerned about us, and they feel like some of the choices we make might put us in a bad position in life. And once again, I'll listen respectfully. I listen to my elders. I pick up stuff from everybody. But like, that doesn't mean I have to go through with it, because like, I may not want the life you want, or even if I was to be able to like take your advice and it turned out great, it might not be the life I want. People say, oh, you got to do this to set you up for life, da 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 da. Then you have this. It's like, you have a good life, and I'll listen to your advice, but that's not the life I want. So like, I can take some of it, but I'm not going to follow that plan because like, I don't want that. That's where some people run into trouble, because it's like we're following paths that are going to take us somewhere we don't want to go. It's not going to work, Hey, Larry J, thank you. Super Chat Squad, the Freedom Fund is filling up. Let's go. Said I still go back and forth if I truly want marriage, if it's just societal programming, becoming more content with the ideal of opting out and just living my best life. I appreciate the message, Tim. Hey, glad you're appreciating the message. And Larry, I'll say on that, it's not letting me put a like on. I'm trying to put a like on your thing. Is that let me? I'll say on that, Larry, give it like, if we give because I'm kind of same boat as far as just like dating, things like that. We can just leave it up to the universe. You know what I mean? And I think that's the easier way. It's just like, okay, I'm not sure if I really want to date, or in your case, if I really want marriage, or if it's just the programming. You know what? I'm just not gonna worry about it. We'll see what happens. And I think in that scenario, the longer you go unmarried, like you said, the more you get open and content with the ideal of just like living life, And honestly, I'm a firm believer that like, the more we're living our lives intentionally in a manner that works for us, if stuff like that is meant for us, I think it flows easier into our life. You know what I mean? I think when we're in flow and our life, like we're living our life in the manner that like is best for us, I think that's when the things meant for us flow easier into our life. And so I think, yeah, there's times where we're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna live my best life. I think that's when, if it's meant for you to get married, you'll find your best wife. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a lot of times like we're trying to force stuff and feel like, oh, I have to. That's the thing, is like, societal pressure makes it seem like I have to do something. You have to be married by 26. You have to. It's the that's the problem. That's what stresses us out, because it becomes not only like, oh, I would like to meet somebody and potentially get married. It becomes like, I have to meet somebody. That's like, love shouldn't have stress attached to it like that. I mean, it's gonna have stress on the back end, but you know what I mean? Like, there shouldn't be stress up front before you even meet the person. So yeah, I think it's like, hey, I'm cool single, and if the right person comes in my life, that'd be cool too. Wow. Wow, Lewis Brown. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Thank you so much, Super Chat Squad. Freedom Fund is filling up. Thank you so much. So Tim, thank you as always for your authentic intent and perspective. You remain a constant source of encouragement. Be well. Lewis, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. You be well too. Stay blessed. Thank you so much for the love, the abundance. Thank you, Lewis Brown, coming through yet again. I appreciate it. It's gotta let me put a like on. Come on now. Oh, I'm trying to put a like. Please know I'm trying to like that. But a bunch of other people are too. So Lewis, LB, thank you so much for the love. Thank you. And it's 222 at the top. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I appreciate the kind words as well. I try to keep it authentic, try to be real, and try to be encouraging and motivational. So thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. We're here. Hey, Chantel, working on her next goal. Let's go. Let's go. You know, I'm a firm believer in flow. You know, and I think you know when you're in flow. And I think it's important that that rhymes. I think that just brings a point even more home. And for so many of us, I think normality doesn't flow. A lot of the things we do on a daily basis to survive in this society don't feel in flow, you know, and we may have to do them for a while longer, but with a mind to and an eye to not having to do them indefinitely, you know. And no one can, the society and the world around us and maybe decisions we've made earlier might dictate that right now we have to do certain things, but no one can dictate to us or make us not think about changing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it might be set up to like, oh, now in order to pay the bills, I got to get up, go to this job, blah, 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 blah. But the whole time I'm there, I can be thinking about doing something different or how I'm going to do something different. You know what I mean? You can't dictate my mind. How to live a life of freedom. Rayon, CR. I mean, I don't know if you can, I don't know if any one person can do a quick summary of that for another person. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. We're good at trying to like quickly tell people how to like live their life. I'm not qualified to do that. You know, everyone has different circumstances. Everyone has different ideas of freedom. You know, like I said, I think freedom is being able to get up in most mornings and days doing what you want to do. So I can't tell you how to do that because I don't know what you want to do. You know, what I just really talk about the ideas like I think is possible and the mindset shift of like believing we have control and power in influencing where our lives end up. Like I'm a big believer that my decisions today influence what my life's going to look like tomorrow. And I've here lately, I've, by the way, folks, I got to be honest. I've been slack on writing in my abundance journal and I got to pick it back up. But like in the past month or so, things have happened that I wrote in my abundance journal 3 months ago. So I think there's a time gap in there, but I'm like, oh snap, I got to get back writing so that 3 months from now I can get the stuff I'm looking for. Hey, Ken coming through. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, Freedom Fund filling up, and the Kombucha Fund. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I have not been drinking as much kombucha as I normally do because the kombucha up here in the mountains is crazy expensive. It's like $4.99, I think. It's either $4.49 or $4.99 for a 16-ounce kombucha. And every now and then I'll have one. But we're going to have one now on Ken. Thank you, sir. Super Chat Squad, Freedom Fund. Freedom Funder, thank you. Freedom Funder, I like that. Super Chat Squad, Freedom Funder, we're here. But yeah, for some nights I'm like, bro, for $4.49, or is it $4.40? I think it's $4.49. I'm like, for one drink, you know. So, but a gallon of water is $3 up here too. So, thank you, Ken. Appreciate that. Follow her page. Appreciate that. Said, want to say how much I appreciate your channel. As I'm sure you heard a million times. I've been watching you since 2022. Okay. Just hope you know your inspiration. Paige, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have not heard it a million times. And even if I had, it's means a lot to me, like genuinely. It's a beautiful thing in life for someone to tell you you've inspired them. Like that's, yeah, I mean, that's huge, bro. That's life for me. Like that's, what else is there? So, you know, thank you. Thank you. Do I think happiness is a choice? Paul, I think we have a lot of interesting discussions around happiness. I mentioned earlier, like people will be like, oh, happiness is fleeting, joy is real. Happiness is fleeting. You need to chase contentment. You need to go after contentment. We have this. This is what happens, and I'm gonna point this out to y'all, and y'all are gonna start noticing it. The same thing happens with positivity. You start talking about positivity, suddenly it's toxic positivity. There are people who this is what they do. Um, Whenever there's something that's just like a good idea, like I think we all know positivity is good. I think we all know like happiness is good. You know what I mean? We start to come up with like different things to cast doubt on it. Oh, happiness is fleeting. Maybe joy is better. Happiness is like, you know, I'm not saying happiness is a choice is one of those. I'm just saying that like when I'm happy, I know I'm happy. Right? And like I don't know if I have to decide, was that a choice or did I just, you know what I mean? If what I'm really trying to say is like I just be doing things that make me happy. Maybe I had to choose to do those things, but like I think what a lot of people are saying when they say happiness is a choice is that like in any situation you can choose happiness. I think in any situation you can choose to focus on like positivity and like worst case scenario future happiness. You know what I mean? Um, but I don't believe the ideal of like in any given situation you can choose to be happy. Like there's gonna be situations you in, you just not gonna be happy. You know what I mean? Or you're gonna be 99%, 1% happy, you know? So and you hear it a lot, like someone will say they're depressed or something like that, and people will be like, well, you gotta choose to be happy. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I do think we have to choose to, you know, to focus on, I do think it's better when we choose to focus on positivity and abundance and happiness. I do think that is a good choice to make. But I don't know if like happiness is totally a choice, you know? Because a lot of times I get happy and something might happen that I had no control over, and suddenly I'm happy. I didn't choose it. I just, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I do believe we have free will, David. Yes. Oh, Ken, I'm definitely drink kombucha again. Austin, yeah. You know, and this is something I'm definitely working on. Patience and like follow through and like doing what I need to do, or like you said, knowing what you want to do but not being able to do it. That's something I've been. that's one of the lessons I'm you know currently working on in life. But I think a big part of that, like for me, is just focusing on the end goal, you know, and focusing on the end goal, you know, taking that time to set yourself up as great as good as possible for what you're trying to do. And like you said, if you got 5 years, that's a good amount of time, so that when that 5 years is up and you're able to do what you want to do, you should be set up. You know what I mean? But man, I got enough time to get set up just like I need to be. But also enjoying and appreciate the present, you know? And it's kind of cool, like if we can get ourselves to a point where it's like, okay, maybe right now I'm not totally doing what I want to do, but I know I'm going to do it in X amount of months, X amount of years. That's great, and we got that to look forward to. That's amazing. But then if we also can like enjoy the time until then we're like winning on both, you know, both sides. You know, I'm winning now because I'm enjoying the present, and I know I got this really wonderful, amazing future set up that I'm setting up. So it's just like that's like a double win, you know. And I try to look at it that way. And I know for me, like I'm big on gratitude, so I'm just grateful because like sometimes it's easy to like look forward and be like, man, why do I got to be doing this when I want to be doing that, and not realize how blessed this happens with me, not realize like how blessed I am right now too, you know. And so I'll try to focus on gratitude and just be like, hey, the situation I'm in right now is really cool, and the future is going to be cool too. So don't have a negative attitude towards this right now, because it's pretty awesome too. And then that way I'm like, oh man, there's just double awesomeness going on. So I'll admit, every day I don't feel like that, and I kind of have to bring myself back sometimes, but that's what I try to do, is just like double down on the abundance, on looking at abundance, and double down on the gratitude, and just be like, oh man, that future thing is going to be amazing. But right now it's kind of cool too, you know? Hey, retired at 55, you know, I think there's more. I appreciate the kind words, but I think there's still a lot of free spirits out there. I think sometimes we think we're alone, but I think there's a lot of us out there. Manila in the building, what up? Forgotten guy. I've never made a video about antinatalism. I have literally never made a video about antinatalism. I've only made videos about me being child free. I don't think I have the right to tell other people what to do and not to do when it comes to having kids. So yeah, I would never make a video saying don't have kids. I just don't want them. What up, Amy? Oh, I'm still here. What up, Alfonso? Good to see a lot of the usual suspects. Said earlier, yeah, man. I've been. Y'all know when I'm working, it's not always as easy for me to live stream. And I got a lot of roommates, so I don't always want to like sit in the house and live stream, because I don't know if they can hear me. So not live streaming as much currently, but we still get a chance to get out here and talk. And y'all know when my situation changes, we might be back to everyday live stream. You know, you never know. You know what I mean? Like, y'all never know with me. So I'm enjoying doing a lot more shorts, videos again. So I'm really starting to get a joy for doing shorts, which before I didn't really get them. I didn't really do them, but I'm really enjoying doing shorts, because like it allows me to put some content out there, but it doesn't have to be as long form. So, and you be a little more creative in a short amount of time. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. You know, hey, whatever, you just got to find enjoyment. Do what you love to do in whatever manner you can do it. But I do love live streams. Leslie Jackson, how you doing? You should listen. Oh, I listen to you every night. Wow. Hey, that is awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Hey, what up, Todd Stevens? A lot of new people. Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, my channel's really been, the growth has been overwhelming. It's been amazing. You know, I'll forget and I'll look at it like, hey, we hit 200,000 a couple weeks ago. Now we hit 203,000. Okay, like, all right, let's go. You know, so I appreciate y'all being here. Like I always say, that the channel is y'all. I just sit here and talk. So appreciate y'all being here. Please stick around. If you got any topic ideas that I would actually talk about, you know, let me know. Follow her page. I currently have not, and I've only been to 3 other countries, I think, but 4 total, kind of. I haven't found a country yet that I was like, ooh, I want to settle down here. If I ever found a country abroad that I was like, ooh, I could live here for a while, I'm totally. But currently that hasn't happened. And that's not knocks on any of the countries I visit. It just didn't speak to me like, oh, I want to live here. You know, I want to go through all the paperwork to live here, you know? So, but in the future, yeah, you know. And you said, what are some things I'm looking forward to? Just more traveling, seeing more places, meeting new people. What up, Chrissy? I have not been to London. That's on the king. London and like Tokyo are at the top of the list. So it's just a matter of buying the tickets and getting the time and going to those places. So yeah. Hey, the positivity is spoken again. Yes, we here. Cedric, I learned to care less, because I'm not going to say I don't care what other people think. There's always some level of, because we're social creatures, so we pick up on social cues. So there will always be a part of you, I think, albeit like you can get to a place where it's a small part, but there'll always be a part of you that kind of cares. I got to a place where like I don't care all that much, and I don't let the little part of me that cares stop me from doing what I want to do by doing things I wanted to do. Well, we talked earlier about baby stepping. I think this is another arena where that holds true. It may start off with little things, but you're just like, I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. It might be something small. People might look at you like you're crazy or be like, what are you doing? But you do it, and guess what? The world didn't end, right? Then you try something else a little bigger, you know? And you do it, and people look at you funny, and they say things, and it's very uncomfortable, and you don't like it, but the reward you're getting for doing it makes it so that you don't care. So you keep doing it. And then maybe you try something different. And I think it's more like you get to a point where like you see it and you may not like it because people are judging you or saying certain things, but it doesn't affect you enough to stop you. And that's when you're kind of like, you don't care. It's like, yeah, I wish people would stop saying stuff, you know, but it's not going to stop me. And once you get to that point, you kind of don't care, you know what I mean? Or you care very little because it's like, okay, whatever. Somebody's annoying, you know. You see some of the, you know, little shorts or videos I might do when people say certain things to me. It's like, I don't care. I must do what I do. But some days I'm like, I do feel like I want to respond because like, why y'all bothering me about this? It's me living my life. Why do y'all care? But that's what's funny. It'll end up people care more about what you're doing than you care about what they think about what you're doing. People will care more about what you're doing than you will care about what they think about what you're doing, which is crazy, you know, because you'd be like, why do y'all care? It's like, I'm just living my life. I'm not bothering y'all. I don't even know y'all. And people will care. You know what I mean? But you get to the point you don't care. But yeah, I think to answer your question, it's one of those things where you have to take action. Once again, you can't listen to enough podcasts or, you know, watch enough videos or read enough books to just suddenly not care what people think. Like you have to actually get down there in the mud and have, you know, judgment, but you stand strong and keep doing what you're doing. And then it's suddenly like, oh, nothing happened. Some people just looked at me funny, you know? Some people don't get me. Okay, you know. I do not own a car, no. I sold my car to CarMax the end of 2023, December 2023, I think. Root, I started my channel, this is my second channel. I don't know. But my original channel, I don't know. One day I just wanted to get on the internet and talk about comic books. So, and no, it didn't feel weird to me. I had no concept of being like a YouTuber. Like when I first started, there weren't a lot. You know what I mean? Like I just thought it was Facebook for videos. You know what I mean? Like people post on Instagram all the time and don't think about it. That's the way I thought about YouTube. Like, oh, I can just post videos. My friends will watch it. I had no concept of like, you know, 200,000 people subscribe, you know what I mean? Or like being able to live off of the income for months at a time. You know, there was no concept of that. So, and I've always been a kind of one of my friends called me an oversharer. He's like, Tim, you don't have to tell everything. I've always been that type of person. So like, you know, honestly, I was so naive and like YouTube was so much younger back then. I didn't even realize how vulnerable I was. You know, I learned along the way. You know what I mean? What comes along with putting yourself on the internet. But at the time, I didn't even think about none of that. You know, like now people know, but it was just like, oh, yeah. So no, there was very little. One day I just turned the computer on. You know, turned the camera on. Excuse me. You know, I was more concerned about how do I upload. You know, than any of the other stuff. Thank you, Michael. Educated Funk and Freedom Channel. I love that title. I love that channel name. I got to check you out. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Freedom Funder. Thank you so much. Said appreciate the lifestyle. Yeah, man. You just got, I genuinely want everybody to be living a lifestyle that like feels right for them. Like, that's what I want, man. And it doesn't have to be anything similar to mine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you got to live like but it's just like, I want people to be living a life that feels right to them, that they wake up and they're like, man, I feel so blessed to be living this life, bro. Like, that's what I want, you know? Thank you, Educated Funk and Freedom Channel. Like that name. Ryan, no, I am in Montana currently. Crypto ChatGPT is a vibe, man. Do I have any advice on how to feel like you're behind in life, seeing others accomplish what you want and being stagnant in life? What I would say on that one is, that's another time when I try to go to gratitude, and I try to, instead of looking at other people and seeing what they have and kind of being, you know, maybe not jealous, but that does not have to be a negative scenario. This is what I'm trying to say. Seeing somebody else in life who you view as similar as you doing something else, or maybe doing something you would like to do, I try to look at that as like, that person is receiving a blessing. It's like, man, you know, Sarah got her blessing. Awesome. And it's crazy because I want to be doing the same thing one day. So I try to look at it as like a positive, like that person's got their blessing. And also like, oh, that shows me it's possible. You know, a lot of it's just how we look at it. We can look at it as like, oh man, I want to be doing that and I'm not there yet. Or we can look at it as like, oh man, that's so awesome that so-and-so is there doing the thing I want to do, that I'm going to do one day. And like, you know, it just kind of shows me it's possible. That person's being blessed. I know I'm going to be blessed. I think a lot of it is just, I think we've been kind of trained and programmed to see things competitively, as opposed to just seeing what it is. You know, think like life doesn't care about your age, right? You know, the universe has been around for, you know, millennia. You know, God is infinite, right? So the things that I believe play a part, we play a part in achieving our dreams, but the other things that play a part in it are infinite, right? They millions of eons. 3 years to them doesn't, you know what I mean? If the universe is like, oh, I'm gonna bless so-and-so with this blessing, just because somebody else, you know, gets it 3 years before you is like, you know what I mean? Like that's 3 years, you know? And I like to think too, this goes back to flow, right? When we're in flow, things that are meant for us come to us at the right time. So it might have been the right time for Sarah to get that promotion. When it's your turn, when it's my turn, and it's in flow, if it's meant for me, we'll get it. So like I you know, like age and years and all this stuff means like nothing ultimately when we're like going after what we want. But I think we've all been programmed to see things competitively. With, once again, very logical, very numbers. I'm 40, she's 40, she's here, I'm here. But at the end of the day, like, there's so much more going on in everyone's life. You might look at somebody who's doing something you want to do in the future, and it may seem like they're further ahead in life, and you might be a billion times more blessed than them. You might have all the little blessings you got going on. You might be a billion times more blessed than that person. They got that one big blessing. And you might have all this other amazing stuff, but because we look at life competitively and logically, we might, oh, that person's making more money than me, they're doing better than me. And it's like, you go home and sleep every night. You know what I mean? You got both your parents, you know? You got, you're like just so many different things that are blessings that we don't put in the equation a lot of times when we're judging ourselves against other people. And I'm saying we, because we've all had the same programming, you know, we all had the same training. So I'm gonna take this out because it's put in the shadow. But yeah, I think it's just, for me, I just try to, hey, that person's getting their blessing. You know, this happens with me a lot with like couples. I've said this before. And most days I go through life, y'all know me, I'm good. But sometimes, you know, you'll see, like, for instance, there's a farmer's market close by, and you know, sometimes I'll be walking through it, and you know, you'll just see all these couples, and you know, and just, you know, and I can get to a place sometimes where I find myself being like, man, like, So everybody else has somebody but me, you know, stuff like that. But I have to realize, like, that's that people's blessing. In some cases, in some cases it's their curse, but you like, that might be that person's blessing, you know. And if I live in flow, if that's meant for me, it'll happen. Most days I'm kind of hope it don't happen, because dating is expensive. I think dating will take away from my freedom fund. I'm gonna be honest with y'all folks, I'm a little selfish as far as this freedom fund. So I'm like, I think dating will take away from that. Not to mention, I definitely wouldn't be able to drink no kombucha if I start dating again. Okay. Oh, Chris, you're from Missoula? I've been there. Am I gonna eat some wings? No, I don't really eat wings that much anymore. There's not a good wing place here. Don, appreciate you hitting the like button. The sun is shifting on me. I think I have to a little bit. Nick, you almost done with Alaska? Oh yeah, it is September. Yeah, it is. The season is ending. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Root, appreciate the sub. Oh, Nick going to Washington, road tripping, seeing friends and family. Yeah, the end of the season is always awesome. You know, if you do seasonal work and you make it to the end of the season, that's always a great feeling. When you like, man, made it through. That is one thing, like, I appreciate about seasonal work, among many things, is that, yeah, you get that feeling of accomplishment when you accomplish the season, as opposed to like a regular job where you're just there forever until you quit or they fire you or you die. I got to use that one. That's a good one. You had a regular job till you quit, they fire you or you die. Sometimes that works. But seasonal job, you go in there, you work your 5 months, you leave on good standings, you finish the season. It's a sense of accomplishment. And then you got some time off. Go do some stuff. Missing you from Kalispell? Been there too. Oh, Big Sky Country's cool, Ryan. I've been telling people to come to Montana forever. You know, a couple people taking me up on it, but the Montanans think that too many people are coming. But I've been telling people Montana's a vibe, man. There's a reason I keep coming back. Yeah, Mr. Nobody. I definitely agree that, you know, I think ever since we came up with media, the level of comparison is steady built. You know, I always think about this, like, before we had like media, you compared yourself with like the 20 people you saw a day. You know what I mean? And they all were pretty much just like you. The average person, you know, in the past, all they typically saw were people just like them on a regular basis. You know, you might go to the other side of town and see the wealthy people, you know what I mean? But the average person compared themselves against people just like them. You know, when we started, I think it started with like movies, the moving pictures. And then you were able to, on a regular basis, see the pretty people, you know what I mean? And see the wealthy people. And everybody else saw them too. That's part of it too. Like, in the past, you might see somebody wealthier than you or prettier than you, whatever. But like, that didn't become the standard because everybody else didn't see it. When we got media, like mass media, and everybody could see the same things, everybody got the same perception of like what beauty should be, or how your life should look financially. You know what I mean? Once we all started getting the same view of like what life was supposed to look like, that's when I think comparison really got crazy, you know, because everybody started, you know, having the same viewpoints and judging not just yourself, but the more you judge yourself, the more you judge other people. So you're seeing all these views, and it's true with social media now, you know, when if you're the type of person that sees somebody on social media and feels like, oh, this is what my life should look like, you're also going to judge other people based on that too. And those other people are going to feel that judgment. And, you know, if they're not strong-willed enough to be like, you know, whatever, that's just your opinion, they're going to look at themselves now. Not only are they looking at the social media, but also they're feeling the judgment coming from other people, and now they feel like their life sucks. You know? So yeah, I think mass media in general started the trend, and social media just really magnifies it. But here's the thing, like, you can't just blame social media because we're the ones who look at it. You know, there's no law that says you have to be on social media. Sometimes it feels like there's a law you have to be on Facebook. So many things I can't do because I'm not on Facebook. Or they're like, oh, you're not on Facebook. We can't link this to your Facebook account. Ugh, now you got to do it the long way. But nothing says we have to be on social media and have it on our phone or our computers. So even if it is, there are some negative side effects to it. We have to be like smarter than the side effects. Right? Like, you know, if social media is ruining people's lives, we can get off it, you know, or we can view different things on social media. Like, we don't have to look at the things that make us jealous or make us feel inferior. Like, why would I keep looking at that? I police my feeds religiously. Like, and not saying I'm doing the right thing. This is just an example. Like, I don't have Facebook anymore. I have Instagram, and I think I don't have Facebook. I haven't had it for a while. I think I tried to do one the other day because I wanted to look at some travel. I wanted to join some travel groups. Long story. When I travel, one of the problems I have is I don't know anybody. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll join some like travel groups. So the next time I go out the country, I can meet some people. Right. And maybe I can get up, then I won't feel so, alone in another country. But there was something in the process of signing up for Facebook I didn't like. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, they wanted too much. I forget what it was. They want. I'm not giving you all that. Anyway, so I don't have Facebook. I have Instagram, but it's not on my phone. So it's always funny. Like, at work, I work with a lot of people from different countries. Like, they come over for the summer to work. And so they'll be like, we got to change Instagrams. And I'm like, oh, I can't. Like, if they send me a friend request, I'm like, I can't accept it because I don't have Instagram on my phone. And they'd be looking at me like I'm lying. They'd be like, what? I'm like, I don't have it on my phone. I go on Instagram on my laptop. They'd be like, especially the kids, they'd be like, laptop? Yeah, so I have Instagram. I only have it on my computer. I only get on there every now and then. And my feed is policed heavily. It's like all female athletes. That's it. It's like WNBA, NWSL, gymnast. That's like it. I don't want all the other stuff. And my friends, like, I got friends, but even some of them, like, if it's friends I've met and like we're not close, like we're acquaintances or we were friends years ago, if they start posting craziness, sorry, gotta go. I just don't. I'm not interested in bringing anything into my life, physically or digitally, that is going to bring me down. Like, for what? Just because it's convenient? Like, no. I'll tell you, my social media, my Instagram feed is WNBA, women's college basketball, women's gymnastics, women's weightlifting, women's soccer, women's sports, basically. That's all, and a couple of my friends. Ryan Jackson, how you doing? I see somebody talk about Glacier. Yeah, Glacier's a vibe, man. Glacier's a vibe. Yeah, Misty, that's why I was like, man, I just want to kind of get in some groups. And I'm like, I tried to find like other forums and things that weren't Facebook to like reach people, and it wasn't as successful. So I'll figure something out. But that was one thing. I was like, I just want to find a way to like link up with people when I go places, and them not be crazy people, and them know I'm not a crazy person. But because I do think that would enhance my traveling, especially outside the country, more if I had people to like. I'm on this journey to find community. Part of the reason I'm at where I'm at now, I got friends here, so I need community. And I'm like, when I hit the road again, I want to be able to interact with people. Happy Monday. What up, F Doctor? Moving? A little tired? Oh, hope you have a good move. I definitely think that's okay. Like, you don't have to carry a cell phone, Crypto Johnny. Like, You don't have to do anything. Yeah, if you don't want a cell phone, don't have a cell phone. What up, John? Hey, John, I've actually seen the Mexican flag football team, so I'm trying to find it again. When did they play? I want to I want to get involved. Like I want to start watching more flag football. But I've seen the Mexican flag football team, so I'm not surprised they're all through your social media feed. Week 3 of your vacation life, McKinley. Okay, it's going good. Nice. Yeah, I'm realizing like that's one. Like I said, there's so many things I'm no longer interested in. One of the things I'm a lot more interested in is community. One of the things I'm way more interested in is community, and like, and it's interesting for me because I'm very particular about the people I spend time around. So that's part of the reason I'm alone so much. But I'm going to figure out a way to like, or just find a travel companion. That might solve the problem. If I just had like a travel buddy, or a travel companion, that would solve the whole thing. But I'm gonna figure out a way to like go places and not just be by myself. But yeah, I'm very particular about like who I spend time with, and who gets energy from me and who I get energy from. So, but we'll figure it out. You know, the grift economy said, I don't want a normal life either. I want to be able to live a life and lifestyle congruent with who I am. Uh, I have the hippie academic bridge personality. I just want to start a businesses around my life. Let's do it. The good part is you know what you want. Let's do it. And I think like all of us, I think low key all of us want that. We just want to live a life that feels right to us. Most of us don't think we can do it. And society definitely has since elementary school tried to pound that into our heads. But when we get to the place where like we understand kind of what we want to do, and then we can get to that place of like, yeah, I'm gonna try. No harm in trying. Like, what's the alternative? Don't try. I'm with you, John. I tell you, whenever I watch men's sports, I'll be like, bunch of grown men running around, bro. I'm good. Like, respectfully, no disrespect, but I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, at King, I'm the same way. Like, I know the power of meditation. It's been so powerful in my life, and I'll slip up. Like I mentioned, I haven't been writing in my abundance journal lately. I haven't been meditating like I want. There's times where like I mess up, I slip up, and I'm not doing it like it's funny. I know it would benefit me, but and oddly enough, well, not oddly enough, but like it makes sense that the times when I'm working is when I have the hardest time meditating and doing all the other things I need to do, and that's when I really need to do it the most. So we got to get back to that. But yeah, it's yeah, the whole world is kind of set up to pull you away from that type of stuff, and instead have you glued to your phone and the news and all this other craziness. What up, Lee? Good to see you. Michelle, glad you like the title. Oh, Griff's gonna start a mushroom farm, microgreens, jam, jelly, pickling business. Let's go. I don't know what any of that is. I'm joking. I'm joking. Refurbished furniture. Okay. I have skills, talents, and interests. It's hard to stay on point. Hey, who is it? Was it Barbara Shear? Anyway, there was an author that like some of us are just that way. Forget exactly how she worded it, but like some of us are just that person. We don't. It's hard to stay on point. We got a lot of different interests, but hey, go after them. Go after all of them. Try them all. Why not? Jonas said, yo, Tim, quit my job, lived the last 4 months off trading stock. Let's go. Not rich, but get by without going to that life-sucking job. Hey, that is awesome. Hey, that's all we really looking for out here. I think most of us, that's all we looking for. It's like, I don't need to be rich. I just don't have to go to work. I'm making enough coins to pay the rent and eat. I'm good. So that's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Priya, how you doing? Nick says, the amount of freedom I have is my metric for happiness. The less I own, the less tied down I am, the less stressed I am. I love that my nomad lifestyle allows me to travel the world freely. Yes, yes, that's you. Like, you're a traveler, you love it. You've created a lifestyle that allows you to do that. That's all we can ask for, you know? Susan, how you doing? Glad you catch it live. Oh, Misty, I didn't know you were a meditation teacher. Okay, okay. Nice. Found community from that? Nice. What up, Lee? That's the nicest carpet you've seen in employee housing. Yeah, my employee housing is decent. Like, I'm not mad. You know me, I've stayed in employee housing. The one I got now, I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at it at all. And, you know, I keep my carpet clean. John, thank you. Super Chat Squad, Freedom Funder, thank you. I love the twos. So I'm glad I found this channel back in 2021. Hey, John, I'm glad you're around too, my brother. I appreciate the love. Appreciate you always coming through. You always got interesting comments. You know, they're always interested. Say what you say about some of them. They always interested, you know. So thank you, John. Appreciate that love. Thank you. Tyler, how you doing? Yeah, digital. That's why I don't watch the news. Ad King, you're absolutely right. We are programmed, we are brainwashed, and told to have a poverty mindset. Religions tell us to be poor. The television tell us we're always going to be poor. Like, everything is saying poor, poor, poor. Like, they give you just enough. The only time they try to tell you that, like, you can get money is they tell you, they dangle the carrot of wealth just enough to get you going to work, basically, right? They can't totally tell you you can't make it. So they dangle the fact that you can make it just enough to keep you going to work and hustling. But other than that, everything else is like, no, you're going to be poor. You should be poor. God likes poor. All this crazy stuff, right? But then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, but rich is the best. You know, it's this like two. That's one thing I noticed about society is two different messagings about money. It's the people who are just like, oh, money over everything, money is best. And there's the people who's like, money's evil, money's bad, God wants you to be poor. And it's like going back and forth. But I think mainly you get the poor is better mentality. You're always going to be poor. And like, it just, that's why we're so confused about money. You know what I realized the other day? And then I may have to wrap this up because it's getting a little chilly, folks. I realized that in school, and I only went K through 12 because I wasn't about to do no mo, especially when I found that it wasn't free. Hang on one second, folks. Oh, we got some more love. Nick, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Nick said, headed off to my last day of work as a tour guide in Alaska. That's amazing. Thank you again, Tim, for inspiring me to come up here for a summer. You're welcome. Everyone have a beautiful day. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much for the updates. I'm loving hearing about your life, brother. I'm loving hearing about your life, and I'm excited to hear about what happens after this. So, and I appreciate the love. Super Chat Squad, Freedom Funder. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nick. Tour guide in Alaska, bro. This is what I'm talking about. This is I realized the other night because I couldn't sleep. So I took the sleep aid or whatever. And it takes about an hour. I take something to go to sleep, and it takes about an hour to kick in. So I was listening to a little Alan Watts or something and getting ready to go to sleep. And I realized, I was like, do you know that we learn more about war in school than like finances and money? You ever thought about that? You learn more about war and murders and bad things that happened all throughout history than you do about money and finances. You learn more about Shakespeare and other dead people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, dude, like, you literally have to memorize and know dates of certain battles that happened hundreds of years ago. And you have to know like who won and what happens and what you literally have to memorize some of this stuff in order to graduate. If you don't know what year they signed the Magna Carta, you might not graduate. But you don't have to know anything about money and finances. Nothing. You can walk across the stage and get your high school diploma and know nothing about money and finances. That's how you know they want you to be they, that's how you know they want you to be poor. That's how you know the system is not set up for everyone to be financially free. They don't talk about taxes. Oh, they definitely don't want you to know about your taxes. Then you do them right. You know what I mean? Nothing. Like, you literally have to like do these essays on, you know, books that people wrote 300 years ago that you may not even like or want to read. You have to read this book and write an essay on it, a book report on it, in order to go to the next grade, in order to pass, in order to eventually graduate. It is necessary. But you don't have to know anything about finances. Nope. Nope. But then as soon as like you graduate, they start sending you credit cards, you know, or around that same time, depending on whether you graduate, when you turn 18, when you graduate, they start sending you credit cards. I'm gonna leave it on that note, folks. Ponder that. It's getting a little chilly. I got about a 20-minute walk back to my housing, so I'm gonna go ahead and start back. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in. It had been a minute. I missed y'all. Like, I mean this. I miss y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Big shout out to Angela, world's best moderator. Huge shout out to the super chat squad, the freedom funders. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Good to see the usual suspects. Shout out to all the new people. Thank you. Thank you. And please know, sometimes we do these streams more frequent. You know, sometimes we have topics, sometimes we just shoot the breeze. But please stick around. Videos coming, shorts coming. You know, I feel so blessed that y'all are a part of the channel, and I'm gonna try to do my part to keep it amazing, motivational, inspirational channel. I'ma go. I love y'all. We'll talk again soon.